SummerSlam is right around the corner, and you know what that means. It's time for my predictions. And with this being the second last SummerSlam before WWE switches over to a two-night format, it is definitely time to make this SummerSlam truly feel like the biggest party of the summer. And WWE has honestly done a great job giving us a banger of a card that includes matches like Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley, Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa, and of course, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. My expectations are high, and I assume so are yours, but in Triple H, we trust, and I hope that we see an unforgettable show this Saturday. But before we get into my predictions, make sure you leave a like on this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and turn those notifications on so you never miss another upload. And shout out to my editor Jay. This bro has been putting in work to bring you guys these daily videos, so be sure, please leave him a nice comment down below. Now, let's get into these predictions. All right, let's start things off here with the United States Championship match. LA Knight, versus Logan Paul. And I just have to start by saying this. No second questions, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. 100% lock it in. Guys, this needs to be LA Knight winning this thing. He needs to get a singles championship. Like, he has had such a good run, and he's been so good for us. Remember, people were calling him a flash in the pan, saying he was the flavor of the month. Nah, this dude is a mega star, and it is time to put the title on him. And I guess you could make a case for Logan Paul retaining this thing. You know, he's got millions of social media followers, but he never defends the title. He's never around to actually defend it if they even wanted him to defend it. He only shows up every so often, and so I think Logan Paul could be used in a much different way while still elevating matches on the card he's in. He doesn't need to be a champion in order to feel like a big deal, and as long as they continue to elevate him up the card, I don't see any issues with taking the title off of him. Now, this could be one of those scenarios where they're just super happy with the attention Logan Paul has been giving WWE with their Prime sponsorship. Who knows what's written into that? Like, they could keep the title on Logan Paul, but I think everybody in this wrestling world would collectively be upset if this wasn't a win for LA Knight. It just has to be, right? It's his time. He's been putting in the work ever since that match with Roman Reigns where he was elevated all the way up the card and then now dropped back down. He's had to scratch and claw his way back to the mid-card title. It's time. It's so time. It is LA Knight time. So final prediction, LA Knight. Yeah. Let's go on to the WWE Women's World Championship match between Bayley and Nia Jax. Now, there's been a lot of talk online about this build right here, and a lot of people saying it's not that great. I do have to agree, unfortunately. It's not been really focused on, and when they have focused on it, it kind of felt like it was an afterthought, even though they were on screen. And it really shouldn't feel like an afterthought. I mean, Nia Jax is doing some of the best work of her career. Tiffany Stratton with Miss Money in the Bank is involved in all this, and Bayley has honestly been a solid champion. But I don't know what it's been about this run. Bayley has been thrust to us and she's been presented in such a big way, but it doesn't feel like the fans are latching on to Bayley. To be perfectly honest, it should feel like this is a monumental run for Bayley. It's probably her most important run she's ever had in her career, and the fans just are not getting behind her. So I don't know exactly what the disconnect is, but that doesn't make me think that it's the time to take the title off Bayley. Sure, you can definitely make a case for Nia Jax picking up this win because of her friendship with Tiffany Stratton and with Tiffany Stratton being Miss Money in the Bank, but it feels like a disservice to Bayley at this point. It feels like her title reign is really just getting started, and any momentum that she's had, you know, it really hasn't been all that much momentum. So now a win over Nia Jax, the Queen of the Ring, would do wonders for Bayley. It would be so good for her. In fact, the more that I'm talking about this, the more that I believe Bayley really does need this win. Nia Jax, I think, will be perfectly fine being in this partnership with Tiffany Stratton and just being the big, strong lady that she is, right? She definitely will find her place on the card. Bayley, however, if she loses the title here at SummerSlam, I don't know where she goes from there. You know, we've got all these potential feuds lined up for Bayley. If we just drop her out of the title picture, like, you're not feuding Naomi versus Bayley, are you? I mean, even if you do, you'd have to turn one of them heel, which doesn't feel like what they're doing right now. So I don't see any way that this could end with Nia Jax walking out with the championship. It just makes too much sense to keep this on Bayley at this time, and especially with Tiffany Stratton being Miss Money in the Bank, you could build up Tiffany to eventually cash in on Bayley. Now, in saying that, this doesn't mean it's a guarantee that Bayley is going to walk out with the championship. Nia Jax could win. I mean, they have built up Nia as a dominant force since coming back, and it would be a really good way of establishing her on the top. It would also be a really good way to establish the Queen of the Ring tournament as something special, because winning the Queen of the Ring tournament means you have a legitimate shot at becoming women's champion, and Nia Jax going on to do so would be really good for the crown. And also, there's something about Tiffany Stratton maybe cashing in on Nia Jax, or their friendship kind of taking a turn because Tiffany has missed Money in the Bank and Nia's kind of jealous or worried that she's going to cash in on her. There's definitely a story there that we could venture down, but to me, it just makes so much sense to keep the title on Bayley. So, well, my heart says Bayley. No, that's not the saying. Well, my head says Bayley and my heart says Nia because she's been putting in great work. I'm going to listen to my head. It's Bayley. She's walking out with the dub. Now let's talk about what feels like the main event of SummerSlam, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre with Seth freaking Rollins as the special guest referee. Wow, what a build this has been. What a feud this has been. Literally since the start when CM Punk and Drew McIntyre entered into a war of words. Oh my God, it's been so good. It has carried Monday Night Raw. Honest to God, it has been the best feud WWE has going for a few months now. And I really, really, really hope that the match is going to deliver. I don't see how it could underdeliver. Like, let's be real. Punk, McIntyre, and that special element of Rollins, it is going to be magic. But there is a few things that could happen here in this matchup, and I'm not certain as to the direction we're going to go with this. My mind says that we're going to see CM Punk lose this match, and Drew McIntyre is going to walk out with the win, finally getting the better of CM Punk. But I mean, that's just one single option. I mean, Punk could beat Drew McIntyre. Seth Rollins could get involved. There could be a no contest. There could be a double count out. There's so many things because of the way that Seth Rollins said that the rules are in his hands. Now, I don't know about you, but this is more confusing than tribal combat. Like, what are the rules? But I'm going to take a little stab at this, take a guess as to where we're going with this matchup. I do think that we're going to see Seth Rollins screw over CM Punk. That's how we're going to get to the finish of Drew McIntyre beating CM Punk. I think it's going to be a Claymore. I think Punk will get pinned, and it will be because of Seth Rollins. If you think back to Money in the Bank where Seth Rollins stared down CM Punk, you just know that there's more here. And with that match being teased at WrestleMania 40 of this past year, and then we didn't end up getting it, it makes you feel like we're building to WrestleMania 41 of Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. And if that's the match that we get there, and we get this whole like 6-8 month build of Punk and Rollins, dude, it is going to be fire. It is going to be so must see. And I really hope that's the direction we're heading in. And also what I love about this story is that the heels and faces are kind of mixed together. Like, there's no clear-cut babyface in this story, and there's no clear-cut heel. It's almost as if they're asking the fans to pick the character they really want to get behind, because they all have these shades of gray. They're not all good people, and they're not all bad people. They're people, and they have their flaws. They have their issues, but they also have their pros. And there's definitely reasons to root for certain people that, you know, you want to root for. For Seth Rollins, he's flashy, over the top, fun, and hella great in that ring. For Drew McIntyre, he's big, strong, and hella great in that ring. For Punk, he's a little fragile, he's older. We don't know if he's that great in the ring anymore, but he's got that aura. Guys, this entire feud has been so good, and I can't wait to see the direction that we're moving in. But in the end, I think it's gotta be Seth Rollins screwing over Punk to allow Drew McIntyre to walk out with the dub. Next up is the Intercontinental Championship match between Bron Breakker and the champion Sami Zayn. And I hate saying this because I said it during the Money in the Bank predictions, but Sami, you're gonna die! It's over! It's so over. Oh, it's so over, man. I can't believe he got past Money in the Bank, still the Intercontinental Champion, but there is not a chance in this world that Bron Breakker is losing again to you. Certainly not at SummerSlam. And like, I love Sami Zayn, man. I'm a big fan. I'm not sure if the cardboard cutout in the back gives it away, but like, it's not his time anymore. He's done his job. He's helped elevate that IC title again. He's continued on after Gunther, which is fantastic to see. And now it's time to pass the torch to a younger, hungrier star who could really, really use a strong run with the IC title. Braun Breaker, I have going over 10 times out of 10. It is happening. Sami Zayn is losing. Braun Breaker is going to be your new Intercontinental Champion. All right, next up is one of the most hyped up matches on the SummerSlam card. It's something we've been waiting for a long time. The story's been so good. It's time to get into Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan for the WWE Women's World Championship. Oh man, what a feud this has been. Seriously, top tier from WWE. Claps all around for everybody involved. This was such a great way to bring Rhea Ripley back from injury. It was such a great way to create more intrigue with Dominic Mysterio and of course Liv Morgan herself as the Women's World Champion. Now, I've seen a lot of people mentioning that this isn't the best way to present a women's feud because it is two women fighting over a man essentially, and that is what the core of the feud seems to be. But when you really dig into it, there's far more to it than that. It's a far deeper feud. If you go back even further, it goes back all the way to when Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan were tag team partners with each other, and Rhea Ripley turned on Liv. That was a thing that happened towards the start of the Judgment Day run that Rhea Ripley went on. So this is definitely a very big matchup with a lot of history, and it's not just about Dominic Mysterio and which girl's going to get Dom. Now, I do think Dom is going to play a factor in the finish of this match. Like, a lot of people are suggesting Dominic Mysterio is going to turn on Rhea Ripley and join Liv Morgan, that he's going to choose Liv over Rhea for, whatever reason that they may say. It may be because she calls him daddy. I don't know. But I don't think this is the direction that we're moving in. I think it's what everybody in WWE wants us to believe. That's the direction we're moving in. They want us to think that this is where we're going with the story. But what I think is that this is far deeper than first meets the eye. We have seen Finn Balor be hella sus with the Judgment Day for a long time. Like, if we go back through the receipts here, he got caught coming out of a car with Liv Morgan. He got caught taking her hotel room key. He's always seemingly up to something. He's always thinking. He's always on his feet. And you just know that man is doing something that he's not supposed to be doing. So I think Finn Balor is going to join forces with Liv Morgan. I think Finn Balor somehow is going to screw over Rhea Ripley and potentially Damian Priest. We'll talk more about that in a hot minute. But there is definitely a lot of possibility for Finn Balor to be the man who costs Rhea Ripley the championship. And I think there's more intrigue in a potential Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio partnership for the next 6 months. I'm not quite ready for that to end. I don't think anybody is. What I do think they're starting to do is they're starting to build Dominic up on his own and starting to give him his own feet to stand on. And once he is able to truly stand on his own feet, that's when I don't think he needs Rhea Ripley anymore with him. But right now he still kind of does. He could use Liv Morgan as a part of his act, and it would be great. He could also stick with Rhea, and I think Finn Balor could make use of Liv Morgan in his act and be a very, very good story. Plus, the potential of it being Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio versus Liv Morgan and Finn Balor kind of writes itself as a mixed tag team match on a pay-per-view. So my official pick is that Liv Morgan's going to retain her Women's World Championship thanks to the help of Finn Balor. Now, with that being said, there's still a lot of things that have to happen throughout the night. And of course, the match placement really dictates if that's going to end up happening or not. But let's get into the other King of the Ring World Championship matchup. It is Gunther versus the World Heavyweight Champion, Damian Priest. And what I just said in the previous matchup where Liv Morgan is going to join forces with Finn Balor, I just don't know when that happens on the show. Part of me believes Finn Balor is going to show up during this match between Damian Priest and Gunther. And I think Finn Balor is going to cost Damian Priest the matchup. Part of me wants to believe it's going to be hey, I accidentally cost you the match, right? I'm still on the team Judgment Day. I'm still on your side. It sucks, buddy. But we'll get the title back. I wonder if they're going to go in that direction. And this match is going to be earlier in the night or something like that. And then afterwards, we're going to confirm the true heel turn of Finn Balor with him joining Liv Morgan or something like that. There's definitely ways that this could go down, but like in the end, I really do think Finn Balor is turning on Damian Priest. There is a lot of heat right there right now between the two, and I think that they got to go down that path. Finn Balor needs to be elevated. He needs to stand on his own soon. Well, I mean, as much as he possibly can. He might have a blonde bombshell by his side, but he needs to be back roughly on his own, not in the Judgment Day faction, and rising back up that card. And I think a way to do that would be to pit him against Damian Priest. So in the end, I do think we're going to see a new World Heavyweight Champion in Gunther. He is going to be the King General at the top of the card, and then we're going to move into potentially a Priest versus Balor feud after that. And let's talk about the potential main event here of Cody Rhodes defending his WWE Undisputed Championship against the new Tribal Chief Solo Sikoa. And look, man, a lot of this match depends on what happens on Friday Night SmackDown. I have not seen that show yet. It is going to air this Friday. It is currently Monday night as when I'm recording this, or I guess technically Tuesday morning. It's 12:35 in the morning. But I believe we are going to potentially see Jimmy Uso return this Friday on SmackDown. I think that's when the guy comes back. I think Jimmy Uso's going to inject himself into the story on Friday, and then that's going to lead us into Saturday, where it feels like Cody Rhodes has a little bit of help, but not a ton of help, right? He's lost Randy Orton. He's lost Kevin Owens. At least he's got somebody maybe for him at ringside, but maybe there's like this uncertainty. Is Jimmy Uso going to actually be on his side? That wasn't English what I just said. Or is he going to be on the Bloodline side? And I think that's going to be part of the dynamic of the match that we need in order to be intrigued for the entire thing. But I don't think that's the only man returning. After a back and forth matchup between Cody and Solo, after a ref bump, after interference, after Jacob Fatu going crazy on Jimmy Uso, or maybe going crazy on Cody Rhodes, for all we know, I think we are going to hear Roman Reigns' theme song play. I think you have to at this point. Everybody's been waiting so long for Roman to come back, and I think Roman Reigns is going to directly impact the finish of this match. Whether that's a spear to Solo Sikoa with a ref bump, or if that's just his music playing, distracting Solo and allowing Cody Rhodes to pick up the win, I believe wholeheartedly Roman Reigns is going to be there this Saturday. And that's going to lead to a Cody Rhodes win. I don't see Solo Sikoa walking out as champion, even though there's a possibility, and it's a very scary thought. It is a possibility that they could put the title on him. They've done a great job building him up, right? And if they're like, Roman's not ready to come back, we got to create another chase for Cody Rhodes. Well, there is a chase right there. Cody trying to get back that title from the Bloodline, but it really has been beaten to death. I think Cody needs to move on from the Bloodline after SummerSlam. We've got that Randy Orton feud right there that we can get into. So, yeah, I don't see any reason for Cody Rhodes to truly lose this match. And I think we need to see Roman Reigns return at the biggest party of the summer. I still don't acknowledge him, though. All right? I do not acknowledge him. Oh, yeah. Also, really quickly about that, I also think Paul Heyman's going to return with Roman Reigns, and it's going to be like bringing the family back together. So we will see Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns, and Jimmy Uso, I think, at SummerSlam. But those are my predictions. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. And I'll also be live this Saturday streaming my entire reaction to SummerSlam. So if you want to come hang out and stream chat, by all means do so. We'll be live on YouTube, and we'll also be live on Twitch and TikTok. So lots of places to watch me this Saturday if you'd like to watch SummerSlam with someone. But thank you very much for watching this video. Leave your comments below with all of your predictions. And also while you're down there, make sure you leave a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn those notifications on so you never miss another upload. We upload literally every single day, so I'm sure there's going to be something here that you will love. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.